1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to make 12. And we're going to start out now. The foundation row for this one goes straight into the stitch. So you don't do a regular foundation. Yarn over, skip one, insert your hook into the next one. Now I do like to turn it over just because I like that nice chain edge on the bottom. Yarn over, pull a loop through. Now you see you have 3 loops on your hook. Now yarn over, pick up another loop, and you just keep adding. Now as you can see, you are going to add 1 extra loop for each stitch except for the one that you skipped at the beginning. So I had 12 chains to start, so that means I'm going to be adding 11 loops. So that's going to be 23 loops on my hook. Because of that, you can't go by the standard rule of the length of your hook being one third the length of your project. You can't really go by that anymore with this stitch because you're adding, you're doubling the number of loops you've got. So I'm just going to go across here. It looks like I've only got 2 more to go. And again, you see my hook is just absolutely packed. And I have 23 loops here. But I started off with 12. So that's how many stitches I'm doing, 12. And the way that you complete this is you are pulling off 2 of the loops at a time. So yarn over for your first one. Now remember, it's chain 1 on the first one for everything else, but this one you're pulling off the yarn over 2. See that guy right there with this one? That's the yarn over, and he's just hanging out there. You've got to get rid of him at the same time. Pull through 2. All right, now here on out you're going to be pulling through 3, because remember you're pulling through this first loop up here on your hook, and then the 2, the stitch and the yarn over. So pull through 3 all the way across. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. You're going to go all the way across until you have 2 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3. Because remember, the first guy was just hanging out there, so he doesn't have a yarn over. 1, 2, 3. Now remember, each one of these is just 1 stitch. It's just got the yarn over with it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're getting there. 1, 2, 3. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now ordinarily, I would say with a half double, you might need to have an extra chain to bring up your row, bring up the height here. But if you see, these half doubles are not, they're not giving you height. They're just hanging out 2 at a time. You see that? That's not really a height thing there. It's just more dense than a regular foundation row. The regular simple stitch, you'll go through both at the same time, okay? The half double, just like the double, is not an insertion stitch. It's not just, it's only worked simple, it's only worked full, it's only worked reverse. No, you can do any of those stitches with it, any of those insertions. So right now we're going to do the simple stitch. So yarn over, and her simple stitch goes right through 2. The full stitch. Okay, yarn over, and this one. Okay, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, yarn over, go through 2. Got that? You see that yarn over is kind of diagonal, and that's important to note. See how it's diagonal right there? It's just sitting there and diagonal. Okay, and you just go all the way across just like you would any other row. This stitch will be designated in the pattern as a half double THDC, and then beside it it says simple. The full word is so THDC and then simple. This is a simple stitch, but again, this is not an insertion stitch, so she could say simple, she could say reverse, she could say purl, she could say full stitch, which is between the stitches. You can do anything. All right, for this little guy down here, I'm not sure how she actually handles this little guy. This would be going under the 2 front vertical bars. This would be going under the typical 2 vertical bars. I'm not sure how she handles it, so I'm just going to go, her patterns say do the half double crochet all the way across, so I'm just going to do it all the way across, and it looks fine. Alright, so we remember we don't chain 1 here. You go through 2, not 1. Alright, and then you just go through 3 right there, see? That diagonal one, see how it looks different? Right there. Go through that, all 3. Go all the way across, and it will look like this. It's a fairly dense stitch pattern, and look, if you look, it has this very unique concept, no curling. Okay, there's no curling with it. It's fairly dense. Remember, go through 2 on the last one. So I do recommend a larger hook, perhaps even larger than you would expect. But if you want to make it less dense, there are ways to do this. Yarn over and go only into the regular front vertical bar. Now that makes it very open. You know, it's just another look that you may want. Let's see, it makes it open. Another thing that you can do instead of going into that one is insert into the horizontal bar. This bar right here. It's the cluster. See, there's 2 and the chain is right there on the top. So just go into that guy and go there. This makes a really neat fabric. Let's get a couple more on here so that I can show you what it looks like. Yarn over, insert. Now you can do lots of things with this stitch pattern because it's not any higher than a regular stitch, one of the regular insertions. Try to mix it up if you want. And when you combine it with other stitches, you get an even more of a different look. I just want to see what this one looks like. So 2, then 3, and 3. Go across. I did have some biasing with this stitch, which means that when I got the fabric finished, it biased this direction for me. I don't know whether I was stitching too tightly. I immediately went and got a bigger hook because that seemed to help. And that is really a neat look, isn't it? Going into that horizontal bar on the top. And that is the half double crochet. I hope you enjoy it. Good luck.